It's Sunday, November 3rd at 2:02 p.m. I was out having a smoke and drinking my coffee, and something popped into my head, so I figured I'd make a really quick video and share what came to my mind. Okay, so the third temple being built, that's kind of like the third temple has not yet been built, and its construction is uncertain. However, some Jews have expressed a desire to rebuild the temple at the Temple Mount in Jerusalem since the Romans destroyed the second temple in 70 CE. Now, the third temple is of Solomon. Solomon, right? Third temple built, and I think it's Solomon. Solomon. I don't think I spelled that right. Nope. Mon. Oh. Solomon's temple. The first temple in Jerusalem was built by Solomon in the 10th century BCE. It was destroyed by the Babylon siege of Israel or Jerusalem around 587 BCE. The third temple, the third house, is the third house of sanctum. Okay. This says End of Prophecy. The Temple Institute School is training certified DNA tested Kohen, descendants of the high priest Aaron. Oh, interesting. The third temple is a hypothetical rebuilt temple in Jerusalem that would succeed Solomon's temple and the second temple. The third temple is considered sacred in Judaism, especially Orthodox Jews and Christianity. In Christian, whatever that word is, eschatology. Okay. A hypothetical rebuilt temple in Jerusalem. Now, what I'm getting at is in the First Testament, we have the tabernacle. We have a lot, right? This is a lot, like a space, or when you go get property, you get a lot. And then in this lot, they fence it up, and then they put up this tent, right? Well, this tent looks like a box. Think of it as a box of like a black box, but it's actually a tent, and it goes as you go in. You pray, and then it has all these, I think, all these seats or something in it, but like a little church. And then as you go to the far back of it, I think it's called the Holy of Holies, right? It's like going into the heart of this tent. It's the Holy of Holies. Now, what I'm getting at here is the First Testament was shown as this tent, the tabernacle, right? The second one, the Second Testament with Jesus, they build these big cathedrals, these big churches that they go and worship in, right? So they're no longer using the tabernacle. Now they're being controlled by the Roman Catholic and these big churches. Now, the third temple being built is our third eye, our temple mind. I'm pretty sure that's why it says that it's hypothetical. So when we look back in time, from the beginning, God is showing us it's like feeding a baby food instead of like a steak. So at the beginning, if God would have told them that the church was inside them, or maybe he was telling them, but they weren't seeing it, so he showed like a lot here. So if we take our temple mind, let's do this. If we take our temple mind, it goes here. It's a table. It's a lot, right? It's a lot right here. There's a lot going on right here on my forehead, actually. So you've got the third temple, the third eye is right here, the third temple, the Last Supper table. So the tent is right here. It's showing the tent right here. Now, when you go into the New Testament, where Jesus is teaching out on the land, right, with no church or nothing up above him, and he's teaching from Father's house, right? That's why they were called him God, is because he's teaching from Father's house. And just like Jesus had told us, that we're all gods, right? So my Father and I are one. And when they were telling Jesus that he's wrong for saying that, it's blasphemy or something like that, Jesus said, weren't you told from the beginning that you all are gods? Well, if you look in Genesis, when the mighty angel had told Jacob when he entered the Holy Land, he had told him to take off his jewelry made by other gods. Well, the jewelry that we have is all made by other people, other gods. And that's why a lot of people say we're supreme beings, because of what we are. So when we go to the third temple being built, it's building up in our mind. It's building our third temple, right? So this is the end. So the first testament was teaching us on the land to gather up and come together in a tent. Well, in this tent is, like I said up here, but they couldn't teach them that, right? So when they went to the New Testament, they're still asking Jesus, for more information. How do we get to heaven? Heaven is up here, right? So the third temple, the third eye, the Orion. So it's kind of like saying this is our temple mind. When we go down into the tent, we have our heart, right? Our heart is where the Holy of Holies is at. Now let's see if I can find, because I deleted some of these photos on here just to get more room in here. Let's do this. See if we can get it faster. Come on. I want to show you my chest and you can see what I mean by the Holy of Holies. Let's see, is this the one? We'll pull this one up. Okay. So here's my heart, and you'll see the Holy of Holies. You can see all these images, right? So they're like deep into the tent. I'm not sure how well you can see that because of the lighting in my room, but you even see this face right here. So the Holy of Holies, and then there's that spear. And I think you still see this dagger that comes down right here. It's kind of interesting. It looks like a sword. You can see the tip of it right there. So you got the sword and you got this spear, which I think this spear that looks like a spade is the Holy Spear. The Holy Spear. It's kind of like a Scooby-Doo Incorporated. The Holy Spear. Holy Spear. E-R. The Holy Spear is the Holy Spirit, which is the Holy Lance. The Spear of Destiny, or the Holy Spirit, is alleged to be a lance with the pierced the side of Jesus as hung on the cross during his crucifixion. Now, this is interesting because this spear doesn't look like it doesn't look like a spade at the top of it, but Scooby-Doo Incorporated does. Scooby-Doo Incorporated. It's near the last of their ones because they talk about Nibiru too coming to the planet and other beings. It's so interesting. Scooby Doo Incorporated, Spear of Destiny. Spear of Destiny. Where is? Yeah, they got this one too. The Ghost of the Conquistador. It says Nibiru's coming. There's already people talking about the Nibiru's here already. Conquistador. Now, where is the Spear of Destiny? I think I passed it. It's up here with Professor Pericles. This might be it. Yep. So the Anunnaki, a long time ago, had left this evil spirit, which we would call the enemy, the evil one, the dark spirit. So they left it here and took off. And so now they're back to seal it up. Now it's so interesting because Jesus comes back and chains up the evil one and throws him in the bottomless pit. The Anunnaki come back and take this and shove him back into the casket and seal it off. And what Scooby Doo and then we're supposed to do is there's a spear. Where is the spear? And they have all these robot armies too. So if you look, what's rising today is a robot army. Where is the Spear of Destiny? I don't see it on that one. Anyway, it's shaped like a regular stem spear, but it's got that shape. And the reason of this Spear of Destiny is that it will protect it. So Scooby the dog star, so Scooby the dog star is holding the Spear of Destiny, but nothing can happen to any of them, to Fred, to Daphne, to so there's 5 of them. There's Fred, Daphne, Velma, uh, Shaggy, and Scooby. So 5. It's kind of like saying the 5 senses and the 5 dog senses, right? Or Sirius A, the top dog star. So you've got all 5 of them. As long as they stick together with the Spear of Destiny, nothing, no evil can penetrate them. They can't even touch them. So that's the thing about the Spear of Destiny. And that's why I was looking at the Holy Spear, and I was like thinking, I wonder if that's what it's showing, a destiny, because at the very end of the series, it shows that Mr. E um, goes and takes them um, uh, into another timeline because they skipped a timeline with him. They're the only ones that were able to skip the timeline. That's interesting because this is how they're showing the Holy Spirit from this view or this angle. It's just a sharp knife. But there's a lot talking about the Holy Spirit. It is kind of like saying the Holy Spirit too. Spirit of Destiny. I wonder if it come up like this. Sorry, I'm taking so long. I can't believe that it's not coming up. Oh, perhaps that's what the conquistadors were about, because it does show, like, these ships and stuff. Anyway, I'll look for it and I'll show you again sometimes. But my whole point was, this is supposed to be really quick. Was talking about Solomon's temple, Solomon, right? Solo means by yourself, like a hermit by themselves. Man. So if you look at me from my perspective, my church is my temple mind, the Last Supper table. In my heart together. It's kind of like saying the Holy of Holies. And I think that's what the whole new thing is, because remember in Exodus, God tells us not to build or create or bow down and worship anything in heaven's image or below or in the sea or in the water. So we're not supposed to be making any idols. We're not supposed to be making any, houses or anything like that. That's because God's already created. It's our temple mind. It's us. We are the Christ temple. And I think that's what this time around is going to be for those who can see that they are the Christ. Now, this is so interesting because you can see that guy's face right there. Look at how their faces is just so clear. And this is what I was saying. This is my third temple. This is my temple mind.